under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, let's go to the reading of the club mission statement. Jimmy Swassman.
This organization shall be known as the Central Queens Republican Club, Inc. Section 1, Mission Statement. The mission of this club shall be to advance the principles and purposes of the Republican Party, to elect Republican candidates to public office, to strengthen the civic welfare of the community, and to engage in a vigorous exchange of ideas supporting Republican values.
Thank you. Roll call.
Daniel Mayo, President.
Here.
David Abraham, First Vice President. Kathy Lally, Second Vice President. Cecil Levy, Third Vice President. David Kemp, Recording Secretary. Isaiah Vega, Corresponding Secretary. Carol Crone, Financial Secretary. Here. Aradiusz Tomazuski, Treasurer. James Schwartzman, Sergeant at Arms, present. Martha Rowan, Chairman of the Board. Okay, Board of Directors. Stephen Weiner, Board. Jim Strawhorn, Martha Rowan, Philip Grillo, Stan Norwick, Ruben Dario Cruz, Joel Solomon, Catherine Donnelly, Craig Tyson, Vic Starsky, Phil McManus, Juan Pagan, Zilly Chow, Gerard Lally, here. Emily Zhang.
And reading of the minutes.
I had a comment on that. I think we should take Phil McManus off because he moves to Florida and never shows up at the meeting.
Okay.
He's still here, but no, it isn't.
Yeah.
They always visit the Florida.
Yeah. But that's point taken. Go ahead. Reading of the March 20th minutes.
Minutes of the regular meeting of the Central Queens Republican Club held on March 20th, 2025 at Grace Lutheran Church, 103-15 Union Turnpike, Forest Hills, Queens, 11375. The meeting was called to order at 7:30 p.m. Patricia Kabue led the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by Jim Strawhorn's reading of the club minutes mission statement. James Schwartzman did the roll call and reading of the minutes. The minutes was adopted with an amendment with one nay vote cast by Isaiah Vega. Board members in attendance were Phil Grillo, Gerald Lally, Kathy Lally, Daniel Mayo, James Schwartzman, Jim Strawhorn, Ruben Cruz, and Isaiah Vega. Absent were David Abraham, Cecil Levy, Carol Crone, David Kemp, Martha Rowan, Aradiusz Tomazuski, Stephen Weiner, Stan Norwick, Joel Solomon, Catherine Donnelly, Craig Tyson, Vic Starsky, Phil McManus, Juan Pagan, Zili Chow, and Emily Zhang. 20 members and 24 non-members were in attendance. Bank balance was $4,901.72 with 45 paid members. Daniel announced the State Court of Appeals officially ruled against Local Law 11 of 2021, known as the non-citizen voting in New York City. Anton Trapman advised that DOT extended winding down of congestion pricing until April 20th. Adam Lika, who filled his voter registration form checking off Republican, talked about giving taxpayers themselves more control over their contribution to Social Security. Zeke Luger talked about healthcare workers working nearly 24 hours for 13-hour pay. He argued that the billions the state spent in CDPAP to home care agencies are not addressing the working conditions of their workers. Nathaniel Gavronsky, campaign manager of Council 5 candidate Alina Bonsell, asked Republican candidates to be supportive of each other. Josephine Aronson countered that GOP leadership itself is the problem. Jonathan Rinaldi pointed out, how is there unity if candidates not on county petitions are not supported? Mario Mastrandrea asked the audience to watch a 2007 movie, The Great Global Warming Swindle, denying the scientific consensus on global warming. Candidates. Alina Bonsell, Republican, is running in the 5th City Council District in the Upper East Side of Manhattan, an immigrant from the former Soviet Republic where she was 6. Her issues are family court reform, public safety, homelessness, housing fairness for tenants and landlords, and commercial tax break to reduce vacancy. Dr. Chris Lord, candidate for mayor, carrying a guitar and holding a can of beer, introduced himself as a nuclear physicist, but did not talk about any issues. Diane Sarr, who ran for U.S. Senate twice on an independent line and is the current president of the La Roche organization, is encouraged by Trump's outreach to Putin and Xi. She shared her recent street meter parking experience that cost her $36 for one day, a price that was once charged by parking garages for what? She believes that this current financial system is bankrupt. Glass-Steagall should be reinstated. Ronan Nahon, candidate for mayor, immigrated from Israel in 1992 with his wife and 3 kids and is living in the West Village. MTA fare evasion and public education are some of his issues. Gonzalo Duran, candidate for public advocate, Conservative Party, talked about increasing registration and visibility of Republicans and Conservative Party and candidates and to expand the workload of the public advocate's office. James Walden, candidate for mayor, was a federal prosecutor, then moved to private practice, helping NYCHA tenants, food stamp recipients, and the mentally ill. His four main issues are cleaning up corruption in City Hall, fixing the education system, and housing affordability. He spent $500,000 of his own money to address problems, not band-aiding bullet wounds. Jerry Lolly asked the candidates stand on vaccines and medical freedom. Alina refused to take a position. Diane said there should be a review of politicians owning pharma stock. Ronan felt it should be voluntary, not mandated. James stated it was a travesty that workers were fired for not taking COVID shots. Zeke said he could not answer since he was not a candidate. Dr. Chris gave a song. Gonzalo said he took the shot but would not mandate others to do it. Ruben Cruz asked about riding MTA transit fare free. Gonzalo said no, but the fare is too high. Dr. Chris said you have legs, so it is already free. Jim is looking into a micro tax that could be used to fund the MTA, but his priority is safe transportation. Ronan said focus should be on the MTA waste and corruption to reduce fares. Diane believes that net good for society should be free, including MTA. Alina believes in free fares for low-income people, students, and seniors. Gary asked the candidates how they stand on the No More 24 City Council bill that would ban 24-hour shifts for healthcare workers. All said yes, they support it. The meeting was adjourned at 9:34 p.m.
Are there any comments, corrections to the minutes, of the March 20 minutes? Okay, seeing none, do I have a motion to adopt the March 20th minutes? Okay, Anton has the motion, and seconded by Richard. All in favor said aye. Aye. Nays? The minutes have been adopted. Okay, let me move on to the announcements. Okay, let's see. It is not here yet. Okay. Now we have on April 20th, unfortunately it's Easter Sunday, free Mets tickets, Mets versus the Cardinals in the afternoon game at 1:30. We still have some extra free tickets. If anyone's interested, please let me know. I can have them sent to you. Okay, next. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot the financial report. Joe Solomon, would you please read the current bank balance in the club?
Current balance is $4,812.94.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have a special guest today that I'd like to introduce you to, Zahra Rashid. Okay, she basically would like to talk about some health interests. It's not directly related to the club, but anyone who wants to speak to the club is always welcome, and one of our club board members has asked her to speak. So if anyone even has someone interesting, you're welcome to let me know, and we will give you a platform to speak. So, without further ado, Zahra Rashid.
Thank you. Hi, guys. I didn't really prepare a speech, so I'm just going to talk freely. I met someone who attends these meetings a couple of weeks ago because I did my very first expo. It's called the New Life Expo. It's for business owners and everyone that wants to come and learn about things such as like detoxification and devices and products that help to enhance your well-being. So I had my very first booth in Boca Raton, Florida, and then I was also invited to speak at New York City. So just to give you a little bit of background on who I am, I'm a registered nurse. I've been a nurse for about 10 years. And, I won't speak too much about the nursing profession, but I've noticed a lot of things along the way. I've done home care, I've worked with kids with disabilities, adults with disabilities. I've worked in hospice, home health, burn ICU, surgical ICU. I worked on a Native American reservation. I was a travel nurse for a while. My specialty is post-anesthesia care. So I see a lot of surgeries, okay, pediatric and adult. And I know that there's a mention of vaccines. The reason I'm up here is because I'm pissed off, okay? I'm a nurse, and the forced vaccinations is what's driving me to do this, okay? I have very intelligent colleagues that have been terminated from their positions because they did not take the shot, okay? And I mean, I could go more into it, but I have a personal healing journey that I've been on. It's been over like 10, 15 years. So I've learned a lot of things along the way. I've worked with frequency devices, bioresonance therapy. I've had over 100 colonics, because it has a lot to do with gut health. But I'm here to tell you that you can take your health into your own hands. There's a lot of things that are unforeseen, like traumas, burns, falls, where the medical system, I will say, hospitals are very much needed. But there's a lot of things that you can do preventatively, and really, that's really my message today is, taking your health into your own hands. And I'm open to, any questions, or if you guys have any information. All I did was bring my brochures with me today. Yes.
The people you said, your colleagues that lost their jobs.
Yes.
But this was because of the COVID
Yes.
vaccine? And what happened since? Like,
Right now, I mean, now if you need to qualify for a position, some facilities will still ask for that proof of vaccination. But I do have colleagues that were terminated from their positions because they refused to take it. And I know personally of people that experience health issues now after taking the shot, especially in the cardiac area, like pericarditis, lots of strokes, lots of stuff going on that it's not reported, and it's like, swept under the rug, it's behind the scenes. Or maybe they won't even correlate that shot to the, the illness that they're experiencing. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, what do you think of RFK Jr. and his, what are your hopes that he will change, make things better?
Yeah, I mean, I follow him on Instagram. I see a lot of the videos. You know, whoever it is, you know, for me, I'm not really much into the political stuff, right? I feel that just as long as we have our rights, you know, and I believe we have a right to choose, but I watched him and I watched Tucker Carlson and, you know, the interviews, and I really love the fact that they're really opening up about the, you know, the correlation between like autism, ADHD, the attention deficit disorders with the children in the pediatric population. And I noticed too, because I work in a post-anesthesia care unit, a lot of children that have surgeries, that come in for surgeries, coincidentally, have a lot of vaccines in their health records. So when I'm a 1986 baby, I don't know how many I've received, maybe 10, but now you're expected to have 40 shots to be enrolled in school. Even if you have 30 out of those 40 shots, the school has the right to say, you can't return to school until you have those 2 shots that are missing. So that's what it is. It's not having the right to choose.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
From infants, from school.
Yes.
From school age kids you're talking about,
Yes.
and everything.
I have a 5-year-old. Yes.
Okay.
I agree.
And she does not. I want to make sure to protect her as best as I can, and I had to really dig for a pediatrician who was very conscious and aware of what's happening, so he doesn't force that list of recommended, you know, that schedule.
But the school does.
Well, the school that I sent her to, they don't.
Oh.
They don't. But in New York, that's like unheard of. That's unheard of. I have a brother who lives in Texas, and it's a little bit more lenient there. Yeah.
What were you saying, the bio, what was that?
Bioresonance therapy and frequency scans. The reason I brought that up is because when I had some kidney issues, I was struggling as a kid, and nobody could tell me what was happening with me until I met my naturopath, and she actually practices in Brooklyn. And I just went for it. I went for the scan, and she said, "Here you go, Zahra. This is toxins, metals. The particular pathogen that was affecting my kidneys was a mycoplasma ureaplasma infection." So I've seen both sides of the coin. I've seen the Western approach to health, and I see the alternative. And now I offer detoxification protocols that you can do from home, because detoxification actually saved me. I would have been struggling, I would have been a mess today if I didn't find this lifestyle. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Any other questions you have?
I wanted to,
Please stop there. Can I get the
I
microphone?
wanted to, oh, thank
There
you.
you go.
I wanted to carry back on what she is saying is
You speak closer to the mic.
is absolutely true. I was with a room full of doctors in Jersey, and they were speaking of the same thing. They all resigned and left. So they all working together to have their own practice worldwide. So you have plenty of them from Europe, from New York, different parts of this side of the West Coast and East Coast, working together to continue on their long life practice that they paid for, and it took their life to get their doctor's degree, and they all resigned for not refusing to take the shots. So now they're going to do their own practice, and they're working legally, so they collaborated together to work against this, the government seed of forcing you to take unnecessary shots. So I recommend you where you are, because it's hard.
Yeah.
Mentally, emotionally, it's hard.
Thank you.
And I was with a room with different types of doctors. And they all feel the same. And they all did resign, some of them did get fired, but they're working together to move forward and keep their practice. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yes, thank you so much. And I'll just recommend if you're interested, to look up this thing called the FLCCC Alliance. It's a website for conscious healthcare practitioners who are aware of what's happening. And, honestly, like, you need to wake up. I feel that if you're not awake by now, if you don't understand by now what's really happening, maybe you'll just stay asleep, but,
And that's the frontline critical care doctor.
yeah, and I'm just somebody who, did the thing. I went to school, I graduated, I love my profession, but there's some things that you just can't turn away. You can't just ignore, So that's why I'm here. I still work. I work two 12-hour shifts, and then I came here. So, yes. Thank you so much.
Vice President Kathy had a question?
No, I just want to say thank you for coming. Jerry and I are
Speaking
parents.
of Mike.
We have 4 kids. Our oldest child is vaccine damaged, and since when he was 5, he was born in 1991. So it's been a long journey. Now I have, we have a lot more familiar faces. It was very lonely when we didn't know anybody back in New Jersey and very few people, but there were so many damaged kids that it was, insurmountable and impossible to hide.
Yeah.
So now the whole world is watching, and they're gonna answer to us, and we're gonna change history.
Yes, thank you, Kathy.
Thank you very much. Go leave the brochures on the back, so anyone or with her, you could grab a copy from her. Let's see, I have a correction on the free tickets. Unfortunately, we're out of it already. But on June 16th, Stan just told me we have free Yankees tickets.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're interested, it's going to be June 16th, Monday. We're getting LA Dodgers, evening game, 7 p.m. Either know myself or Stan, where are you now? Okay, Stan's sitting in the corner. Let Stan know, or myself know, and we'll give you those free tickets. And that's for June 16th, Monday. The Yankees versus the LA Dodgers. Okay, now, before we get to basically the main part of the meeting, introducing independent candidates. Oh, Ed Leavy is here. Ed has an announcement. Okay, you want to talk about your summit?
Oh, yeah. Oh, what's up, man? Oh.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. I just got a quick, thanks for letting me make the presentation. Okay, so the thing is that, just gonna kick this off real quick. People know the story about Pandora's box, right? Yeah? What's at the bottom of the box? Anybody know? Hope, right? Hope, right? All the people came out and then hope came out. Now I'm gonna tell you guys something that right now, that hope is actually very dangerous. It's very, very dangerous. It's actually the father of all lies. Think about it. When the first time you stole a cookie from the cookie jar and you told your parent you didn't take that cookie, you were hoping you were gonna get away with it. I'm not saying all hope is bad, but we need to think about something. Yeah, but let's talk about dreams, right? What's the most expensive thing in this world? Dreams. When they sell you a house, they're not selling you a brick. They're selling you the idea of the neighborhood. When they sell you that education, they sell you the idea that that's going to build a future for your children. Okay? But we need to get, I'm not saying hope, honestly hope is extremely dangerous, but we can use that to become unnaturally strong. So I'm not saying hope is always bad, but you got to realize it's very dangerous, and the Democrats love to abuse this particular faction for themselves. We got to make sure that we don't fall into that same trap, I swear to you. This is very important, okay? Now the thing is that a lot of candidates, by the way, are running on hope and dreams. Listen to that tonight, okay? I'm not saying it's all bad, but look for the reality, okay? Now the education right now, just so you know, our biggest expenditure in the New York City budget is actually children's education. And the fact we spend more on that than on police, fire, and prisons combined. But we have this real, unfortunately, kind of like a knee-jerk reaction where we have this reflex where we say, you know what? Education is kind of like good, cops are bad, right? You need to think about that. The U of T is extremely dangerous. And I really applaud, Blanchard for her great work as approaching that issue. There's a lot of money that's determining what the priorities are. And it's time for us as a community to start making our own priorities. And I gotta tell you right now I have, I'm trying to do a town hall on children's hall education. I was so excited to have Moms for Liberty Queens join on. I told, I had Holly Ham agreed to be there, Steve Chan, the first Asian American, would agree to be there, but then they had to drop out, and it wasn't laying a chin. I'm not gonna say I love Moms for Liberty. But I want y'all to once again, they were input by people from outside the organization, and I'm gonna tell you there's a lot of weirdo stuff going on, right? If you look at Rescue the Republic, Scott Ritter's a two-time convicted pedophile. Why is he hanging out with RFK? I'm not saying it's all bad or all good. RFK's done a lot of quality work. Okay, I got a lot more evidence of weirdo stuff going on. Sex offenders that are being protected specifically to normalize the sexual abuse going on by high-level executives in both parties. Listen, I love the MAGA movement. I love Steve Bannon. And the fact of the matter is, I'm not saying all billionaires bad, they can be useful, but we gotta make sure that as the ground forces, we gotta have each other's back. So I know a lot of people here personally, and you've seen me here before, and I know y'all and I love y'all. Do not let them get in the way of what we are building together. I swear to you, yeah, there is one grassroots movement, and that's you and me. If they're not here in the room with us, I'm not saying that they're bad, but they're not here with us. You get what I mean? So don't cut me out, I swear to God. I swear to God, yeah, I'm suffering so bad because of these elitists trying to blackball me from everything. So, right now, I told you that I had some very interesting. Hollyham was actually appointed by Trump directly to the Asian American Director Mays during actually Asian American Pacific Islander Month. And we're trying to, you guys know about Scott Plesser, about how he transformed the Amish and got them to all vote for Trump in Pennsylvania. You know what I mean? Winning, that's right. Right now, the very first Asian American district in New York City history changed from blue to red in just one cycle. We Asian Americans know the lie of DEI. We know it better than so many. I'm telling you right now that we need Asian Manhattan Chinatown conflict. We could cause a chain reaction of Asian communities across the United States to flip red and to really put some real hurt on these Democrats. I can't stand them. I'm sorry. Not all Democrats are bad, but you know the hypocrisy, that's why you're here. I appreciate that. Yeah, so look, once again, I need your help right now. Right, Mom literally couldn't be there. Hey, I ain't mad. We're a national organization. There's other pressures coming in. I don't want to get Elaine in trouble, you know what I mean? Once again, but if anybody comes to cut Elaine out, I'm going to say hell no. Anybody comes to cut mayoral, I say hell no. They say cut Gonzalo out, I'll say hell no. Anybody who's been with me, I'm with you. That's what's up. Brandon Castro, I got you back. Smith, I got you back. Cap, I got you back. Javon, I love you, man. You connect on a deep level, man. I got you back. You with me, I'm with you. That's just as simple as that. Never let them come and tell you to kick me out. They die to that. Do not. One more thing is, I'm also a street performer, and the lefties don't talk about Jordan Neely, right? Yeah, I'm helping more street performers than anybody in New York City, straight up. And this summer, on June 7th, we're having a street performers performance. You guys can get in with that, and we can also advertise candidates, right? Yeah? We see thousands of people every day. We're very relatable, right? Yeah? People think we're authentic. We are, right? We're not out there for our pride or to get rich. We're just trying to live. If you want to, put your shirts on some of my people, that's definitely cool, right? Thanks once again. My name is DGL7. I got cards. You probably know me. Hit me up for this childhood education forum. Oh, one of tomorrow, don't got your back too, yeah? Love that guy. So, thanks again for listening, and God bless.
That organizing independent nominating petitions. Before we get to that, I'd like to call Gonzalo Joanne up for, he has an announcement he'd like to make, and then we'll go to the candidates after that.
I'll make this quick. Thank you, Danny. I'm not here speaking as a candidate right now. I'm here as a politician. Not being a part of the main faction of the bodies, the government bodies, we don't often get recognized for the hard work that we do in the community. And I do my best to try to do where I can in my capacity. And today, I'd like to give one recognition to one individual, one of your own. Isaiah, would you mind coming up front, please? He was not aware about today, so please give him a round of applause, guys. Round of applause. So, many of the individuals here know Isaiah, how you guys have been working with them. Many of the candidates wouldn't be here or on the ballot if it wasn't for him. Some of the things that I'm going to talk about, and I want to make sure that you guys understand, because these are things that a lot of people don't see. Let's say for Manhattan Conservative Party, at midnight or around 11:30 at night, he was at the Board of Election ready to stamp out to help out the individuals that got misplaced at the last minute. So imagine you're running for office, they didn't stamp the paperwork, and not getting help. Where do you go? This guy right here. Many of the candidates that are here, that are running on the ballot this year for Republicans, conservatives in Queens and Brooklyn and the Bronx, and Staten Island have either been in some form worked with Isaiah or had some of his work integrated into their campaign. So I think, once again, across the city, and obviously working with them the last couple of months, another achievement that he did last year was the 2004 Voters Guide for Republicans and Conservatives. How many organizations are even doing that? None, except for this guy right here. So, on behalf of the incredible work that he's been doing for many years, for not only for Republicans and for the Conservatives, District Leader for the 790 Assembly District, proclamation, Isaiah Vega. Whereas the prerogative of this office to recognize individuals and organizations whose civic contributions enrich the fabric of the Bronx County. And whereas this community leaders like yourself, to whom we owe a profound debt of gratitude, individuals dedicate themselves tirelessly to the betterment of our community, and whereas, in alignment with the ethos and accordance with time-honored tradition, it is that with great pride that this office bestows honor upon you today. Whereas their long-standing commitment to the Bronx has been unwavering with the tireless efforts, consistent aim at enhancing our borough, and whereas your exemplary service and dedication to our community, both in the forefront and behind the scenes, merit long overdue recognition. That part I'm going to repeat. With your tireless efforts and consistently aimed at enhancing our borough, both in the forefront and behind the scenes, merit long overdue recognition. And whereas you epitomize the finest qualities of the Bronx, serving as a shining example for us all, and whereas it is the sentiment of this office and that the achievements and milestones of individuals should be publicly acknowledged and celebrated, serving as an inspiration for others to follow suit. Now therefore it be proclaimed that I, Gonzalo Duran, District Leader for the 790th Assembly District, do hereby recognize you as an individual deserving our utmost respect and admiration. Be it further proclaimed that a copy of this proclamation be presented to you on April 17, 2025. Isaiah, this is yours, but before, I need a pen to sign this. Do you have a pen today? I do have a pen, actually. Oh, thank you. Oh, black. I'm sorry. Oh, well, not a marker. A Brooklyn conservative pen, a marker. Wow. Here for you. Say something, guys. There you go. Wow.
I guess I will say for you, thank you so much, Gonzalo. I was not expecting this. He didn't even tell me. So I guess, out of politics, I wanted a few things. I guess this is one of them. I'm just so honored. I'm surrounded by wonderful people here tonight, Mayor, which I do know, and I look forward to working with you. But to be honest, I can just take this and say I'm quitting, but no, I'm not. All right, well, let's get on with the meeting. But again, thank you. It's a tremendous honor.
Okay, let me have the candidates come up. So please, James Leonard, Abby Laurel Smith, okay, George March, Angela Aquino, Marty Dolan, Gonzalo Durant, Fondo Valley. I know I'm missing Jalan. Come on up. Anywhere you like, okay? Basically, these are the main organizers of some of the independent download petitions. There are several candidates here, and someone on YouTube watching this. They're going to basically introduce their platform, how they're organizing this. You can certainly join them or on a slate, or do it on your own. We're here to guide you and help you. Okay.
Can I go or no?
Okay, of course. Jonathan, you're on there too.
What's up, brother?
Hey, buddy. Looking good.
You know that your dog groomer is my friend.
Get out of here.
Yeah, Amanda?
No. I love her. Good evening, everyone. I just want to remind all the candidates and speakers today to please announce yourself with your name, what you're running for the video. This way we could acknowledge you properly. Thank you.
We'll be right with you, folks.
I'll arrange it. Don't worry. Say what you like. I'll arrange it. Okay, we're going to let them introduce themselves, what kind of third-party names they're running, and what are some of their values. Let's start with you, Gonzalo.
Let's talk about your line and, just talk about.
Everyone, my name is Gonzalo Duran. I'm running for public advocate for New York City. I am a Republican and conservative candidate. I'm also working with the United Alliance Party. Our saying is, we're not blue, we're not red, we're just us united. We're giving anybody an opportunity to run for office. If one of our lines is not full, we're more than happy to take it. We have individuals in all 5 boroughs at the moment. We have a total of 13 individuals that are running. So we do have a few lines open, and anybody that's interested can speak to either myself or Isaiah at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Tabitha Ward, and I'm running for mayor of New York City. I'm running on the independent line, and as mayor, I will solve the problems of New York City in the areas of immigration, budget, taxes and revenue, jobs and education, infrastructure, law enforcement and crime prevention, and additional policies. I've uploaded several videos on my YouTube channel at Tabitha Ward, YouTube at Tabitha CL Ward, pardon me. And you can go to this channel and you can see I've discussed extensively, I have extensively discussed each of these topics in the areas that I will solve the problems for New York City, and I'm available to answer any questions or to address any comments that you may have.
Hi, I'm James Leonard, and I'm running for mayor of the city of New York on the independent line committee known to the city of Yes. Some of the issues we're going to cover is police department and crime, criminal justice reform, the city of Yes itself and its effects on the city, the schools, homeless shelters, and affordable housing. We're trying to bring the city back to a sensible, usable position that it used to be. Right now, the city's become too complicated to operate in. It's not user-friendly. There's too many rules, regulations, which are good, but it's just not accessible to the people. We're here, my platform is here to try and bring some clarity and find out the problems of things that may destroy the city, such as the city of Yes. So these are some of the issues that we're going to cover. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Vaughn Stephen Dalali, and I am running for Queens Borough President. I'm out from Rockaway, and first of all, huge thank you to President Daniel Mayo and the Central Queens Republican Club for hosting tonight's gathering. I'm truly honored to be in a room filled with candidates, organizers, and passionate New Yorkers. To all the familiar faces here tonight, thank God you made it, including you, Angela Aquino. I see you don't have the MAGA hat today, I love it. Versatility is great, isn't it? Especially in New York City, you need it. New York, I've been through the most darkest of times. I come from the gutter, the projects, okay? I know what it takes to run the city, and I got to a really good school. Shout out to School for Classics. I'm actually doing a Dateline episode because my teacher was murdered by the other teacher. So I got to see that happen. We have heinous crimes happening in this area. Her name's Simonette Mates, if you want to do a research on that case, please do. We have some serious heinous crimes happening out here, and it's gonna get worse. Right with the mental health situation we have. And if we can implement mental health within our school system, implement it now, they'll know I'm not gonna throw trash. It starts with the small things. Everybody wants to go big. Let's just stop crying. We're gonna arrest everybody. It don't work that way. I'm afraid it doesn't work that way, New York. And be honest. If you follow my Instagram, you know I'm very honest with you. I like to have fun. I like to be silly. I'm happy and I'm close with God. And when you're close with God, you're going to be happy and honest, baby. So New York, again, who do you want? Some big guy who's going to be able to afford a lot of things? It's hard for me. I'm scraping by. I'm scraping by. Later on tomorrow, I'll be cleaning out my grandfather's apartment, who passed away, unfortunately. And I'm still doing it, baby. I'm still going hard. You understand me? In New York, you need somebody who can keep going when the times get rough, like 9/11 did when we lost people, and still haven't found the bodies. And then we're letting everybody in through our border? Are you nuts? Don't NYC for the city of Queens.
Enough said. My name is Javon Terrell Ross. My campaign is called The Olive Branch. And I'm here for three things: respect, reform, and restoration. We do that in love. We can move on from there. We'll ask questions later, but that's enough for now.
Hi, everybody. My name is Abe Laurel Smith. I have run for mayor twice, and I'm running again for mayor this time around.
There you go. Don't give up.
I am a radical Republican, but this time I'm running as a rebuild candidate. I hardly talk about these, but I've been to the White House twice when Trump was president first time. And the way I see it, what we have now is New York City as it was in the 1970s. We need to turn things around. And also we need to back each other up. I could say we're not trading enough. That will not solve any problem, any issue we have. We need to make the city work. We have the means. And I want to rebuild New York City. There are a lot of things that I want to do, but the city has to be turned around. What we have now is corrupt. It's not helpful in any way. And we have to stand up to it. We should not be intimidated by the people we have around us or the people that we have running the city. We have the will, we have the means, we have the passion, and we have to stand up to them. I want to rebuild New York City. Thank you. I will say.
Good evening, everybody. My name is George Marsh, and I'd like to be your next New York City mayor under the Independent Republican Party. I'm a frustrated New Yorker, lifelong New Yorker all my life, and tired of seeing the mayors just abuse the privilege of running this city for their own private, and that's what's motivated me. I work right across the street from City Hall, and not by choice. I do believe it's a divine intervention that got me there, and it's carried me all this way. But issues that address me, issues that address me is, the MTA, uncountable to nobody. They just ask for money and they get it. They've taken over the bridges, they've taken congestion pricing, and they've raised your fares. And what do? They complain about people jumping turnstiles. Well, there's so many fixes that they could just do that are so obvious to the growing up city person. They make accessible emergency exits available so people can walk through them when you're leaving them. They just don't account to nobody. And I think that's the first issue. They have their own private contractors, maybe family members that put up these billboards, not just one billboard, but 3 billboards. We need 3 billboards saying the same thing? I don't think so. I've went out there and I've collected a lot of signatures out there, and what I got with the people was, I talked to a teacher and she was telling me about Governor Hochul and charter schools and how they take the kids up until October, and then they let the less fortunate kids go back to the Board of Education, but they take all the funds. They said Hochul's on board with this, and I don't know a great deal about it, but it's worth being looked at. It's worth, all these issues are worth to bring to the top. little communities. Every little community complains about the city just running in there and doing what the money allows them. The city of yes. Maybe they've overdeveloped in your private little community. They certainly did it in Rockaway and in Astoria. They do this, but do they do anything for the infrastructure? The infrastructure is still the old same infrastructure, but they got collects tax dollars. Where are these tax dollars? These red light cameras, where is all that money gone to? Do you see it in the roads? I don't know. I just came up Woodhaven Boulevard and it looks like the moon driving over. And I ride a motorcycle and it's very scary. You know, so the Board of Education versus charter schools, homelessness, you know, there's principles to making these people accountable to our own people. Our own people sleeping on the trains. What are they sleeping on the trains for? Well, I mean, I go to work every day with everybody on the trains. And what do? They sleep all day and then create havoc all night? Is that not obvious? Let's keep up the homelessness awake so they can go to sleep at night. So your houses are not getting broken into or whatever kind of havoc. I know, I ran the streets of New York at night. I was a kid in New York. I mean, I'm not no angel. There's far beyond that. But I know the obvious things that are in life. And as a taxpayer, as a hardworking 40-hour-a-week guy, I don't need to have to fight to get on a train and smell the smells and deal with them. And that's what I'm all about. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Angela Aquino. I'm your public advocate candidate for 2025 under the Democratic Party. I am on the ballot as of now, but we are being challenged. As usual, nothing new around with the Democrats challenging each other, right? Playing dirty games, playing ridiculous games. The only common sense Democrat is being challenged by a much high-profile girlfriend, mistress, lady escort, lady in red, Jennifer Rajkumar. Why do I call her a mistress? Why? Because it's true. We all know she's not the one in that Turkey airplane. I gotta say, she fooled me. I thought she was the original. Why are they targeting us? The one that makes sense? The one who garnered organic petition signatures when their signatures are the ones that they all look like they're from the same person. That's right. One person wrote the address all the way down. Is this the way you write petitions? I don't think so, because I went on my own talking to people and the person who signed the petition wrote their own address. That's how I made my petitions. I will tell you something honestly. I have more organic signatures than you, Jennifer. And that's the truth. I have more organic signatures.
Mom, I can't tell if you're mad.
And that's the truth. And why do she have the audacity with her high-profile stylish line to pick on my petitions? When she's the one who's close to Mayor Adams, whose every ally is being investigated right now. She should be the one who's to be investigated, not us. Not the Chino, not the other public advocates who you tried to kick out of the ballot. It's you, Jennifer. I'm not a type of woman who goes after a woman, but you certainly deserve it.
Okay.
You're something else. I would talk more, but it will just get tooted out. You're New York, remember this woman, this lady in red escort. not together because they're acting so giddy. And please spare us. We don't want to watch you flirt around in public. You want to do your stuff, do it behind your own private time. Don't be all giddy. Look at that. Oh my God. Watch the video. Really? You're a public advocate? Of who? How dare you? So now, I'm just gonna talk briefly about my platform. Okay, so my policies are about three very simple things. Number one, we need to be having reform in our bail reform, no bail reform. This is just causing a repeat rotunda like of getting people, catching criminals and releasing them back to the people. Number two, we need to create our very own version of Doge. If not send the group of Elon Musk here, we must have our own very own version of Doge. Because they're right, there's so much corruption going on in New York City. Where is it going? We have a future to take care of. When DJ Alf mentioned that the students, the education department is having the biggest budget, that is correct. But still, our children don't know how to read. Our math is so pathetic. And they're passing. Despite having the biggest budget allocation, our kids are still falling short compared to other states and not being competitive, and they're still passing even if they don't know how to read and write and do math properly. We need our public schools are being eaten up right now, and it's that bad that we will have to push for charter schools and get the good kids out of there. We just have to. Because the public schools are going down in a way that we can't control, that we need to get the good kids out there. Why is the budget taken out? Because it's not working. The budget is not going to where it's supposed to go. That's why our other opponents are stopping President Trump, because why is he cutting the budget? Because why would you keep on putting budget on things that's not working out? We might as well just get these kids out of there and put them in charter schools and private schools and religious schools of the children's preference, and there where they can be protected. That is the three platforms right now, my friends. And I hope to see you in the primary, and I hope to see you in the general elections. And together, we're gonna do this together. And it's time that somebody gets elected who's not part of the machine. And the independent line will be a very important factor at this. Not only just to have a representative or to have an alternative. I am not okay with that. Running is not about being an alternative. Running is about winning. Running is about winning. And you get your right candidates out there. New York, wake up, stand up. Take everybody out of the machine, who's a part of this machine, out of there. And put the right candidate. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I can be calm. My name is Jonathan Rinaldi, and I'm here. Aura, calm down. I'm here representing the American Socialist Party. I believe in freedom, infrastructure, energy, and ownership. Simple. My mission, I believe in a strong America powered by efficient public systems, accessible energy, and individual liberty. The Republican Socialist Party stands for free energy and free public transportation without raising taxes. We cut government waste, not freedom. We believe in private ownership where it counts and public power where it matters most. What we stand for: free public transportation, no fares and no tolls. Fully public transit systems, Movement is freedom and transportation is a right. Free energy for all. Lower cost of living in business. Energy is a right, not a privilege. Publicly managed utility systems with guaranteed basic access. Real energy diversity. Flex fuel hybrid, fossil fuels, and electric. Embrace all options, geothermal, ocean, maritime power. No more single source ideology that only works. Small government, big efficiency, no new taxes. Cut waste, shrink bloated agencies, reinvest savings into infrastructure and support, and social support. Oh, okay, all right.
The Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Strong infrastructure equals a strong nation. Rebuild roads, power grids, and transit with modern, clean tech infrastructure, which equals economic power and job creation. American made, American run. Our economic plan. No tax hikes ever. Fund infrastructure through budget reform, elimination of waste, smarter federal spending, lower transportation and energy costs to fuel economic growth. Join this movement. The Republican Party is not left, it is not right, it is forward. We believe in working class power, common sense policy, and a future built by each and every one of us. Thank you very much.
Tough acts to follow. First of all, thank you to Danny for hosting this event. We should all give Danny a big round of applause. And then congratulations to all of you. You're out here on a Thursday night doing your part for democracy. You know, this is one of the great things about America. It's congratulations to me for finding the basement here. Now I know my way here. It's not my first time. I see my friend here. I met you in the Bronx. I met you in the Bronx. I've met most of it. And there's Sir Henry Ikezi. Henry, you want to stand up for a second? Henry Ike. He's running for Queensborough president. Our campaign is got the logo of the bridge, because I think what we're trying to do is build bridges. We're trying to build bridges between the Republicans and the Democrats, between the poor people and the rich people, between the different races, between the young people and the old people. New York is a $27 trillion economy. It's got a $120 billion budget, and it's run by people with no financial training. So you that's what's happening here. We need to restore things. We need to really have some fresh perspectives getting in there, but we need to do it together. I just collected 15,000 signatures for our candidacy. We were also challenged, so we were temporarily challenged, but they surrendered. When I say we, I insisted on running with a slate. So we had 9 candidates that were petitioning together. We had judges, the judges from Queens, the judges from the Bronx, we had city council members from Queens, and city council members from the Bronx and from Manhattan. I've had so many apartments, I've lost track of where I lived. And when I'm public advocate, I'm gonna live in each of the city council districts for 1 month, for the 48 months that I am public advocate. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Danny and say, oh, yeah, my name, wait a second. I'm Marty Dolan, I'm gonna be the next public advocate.
Before we get to asking questions on the candidates here, I want to introduce another unique special guest. As you all know, our club is very open. Anyone who wants to come can come. We have a Democrat mayoral candidate. She's not running for independent line, but she would love to speak before the club, so she's welcome to come. Let me introduce you to Dr. Selma Bartholomew.
Talk about compassion in here, right? Yes, right? Good evening. I am Dr. Selma Bartholomew, and I'm claiming it that the first woman mayor in New York City will be named Selma. The name is synonymous with change. Let me give you a brief introduction in terms of who I am, because when they say doctor, my kids often say, what kind of doctor are you? Are you the kind that write prescriptions? So no, I have a PhD in leadership from Fordham University. I grew up in Harlem. I live in the Bronx. I own a home in the Bronx. And my work is in education. I own an education company, which I started in 2008, in the middle of the recession. And what I discovered in 2008 was the ugliness of New York City. What do you do when home won't let you stay? What do you do? So I flew, because I discovered that there really was no opportunity for myself as a woman-owned business, as a person-owned color business in New York City. So I flew to the Dakotas. I know what you're saying. They got black people in North Dakotas? That's what you're thinking, right? Yes, they do. But in reality, I flew to the Dakotas because they wanted the talent. They wanted them STEM jobs. They wanted to really rethink their community, rebuild their education system, and so I did the work. I would come back to New York City and then they would gaslight me. They would say things like, oh, we're going to do resume workshops and, we're doing all of these different programs. Yeah, in New York City, you spend over $40 billion on education and your schools are failing. Education in this city and in this country has absolutely flatlined. Black children from 1978 to now has gained only 1 percentage point, and white children has gone from 86% and they have completely flatlined. So your education system is not working. Let me help you, New York. Let me help you. And so my work and my decision to step into the mayor's race, I'm not a politician, but I decided to step into the race for one reason. How do you boil a frog? How do you boil a frog? Yeah, so it turns out that when this country was started, you could boil a frog with hot water. So when this country was started, the water was very hot. It was hot for those men who came over. They were criminals, right? We know what their experience was. It was hot for the white woman who was indentured servants, right? It was hot also for the African who came off that plane, off of the slave ships, right? And so it was so hot that people decided we gotta fix it, we gotta change it. And so they wouldn't allow themselves to be boiled in that hot water. But how you really boil a frog is that you get cool water and you put that frog in cool water. Our children are dying. They have become the boiling frogs of America. They are pushing that weed, pushing that weed. I grew up in Harlem in the 80s where they pushed that crack into our community. They pushed it, they pushed it, they pushed it. Now who owns Harlem? Now who owns it? Now with that City of Yes plan, what are they pushing? They're pushing that weed on your children. Your kids are going to school, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds, stinking of weed. Stinking of weed, and you think that that's not fueling the crime that you're seeing in your community? People are driving drugged. When have we ever allowed the victimization of our children for the money? When have we ever allowed that? When have we ever allowed the victimization of our children for the money? And so it is time, yeah, to take back New York City. Sometimes people say they and the establishment. Let's call people what they are. The robber barons and the white-collar criminals. White-collar criminals have been running New York City, right? Hence your bloated budget, the reason why your schools are failing, right? Bloomberg went in there, he said he took $1, but those people went in there with their packs. And they are the one getting these huge budgets while your kids are not learning. So let me help you, New York, let me help you. One of the things that I'd like to offer New York City is the following. Well, first 100 days, can we clean up the streets? They are filthy. Am I wrong? The streets of New York City are filthy, very filthy. The next thing I'd like to give you is you know your zip code, right? Can I talk about what's in your zip code? So a quality of life index tool. Based on your zip code, you should be able to know where the schools are, where the parks are, where's the funeral home, where's the florist. Why does that matter? Because you have no transparency in New York City. There's no transparency. So people are constantly just dropping things into our neighborhoods, and we don't know why. We don't know when it shows up. So a quality of life index tool is one of the things that I'd like to give you. In the context of the homeless that we're dealing with in New York City, yeah, New York City and New York State just gave, I'll call it 15, even though it was $9, yes, to one agency, while the homeless are on the streets and in the subways. And in reality, we have a congestion problem in the Bronx that is fueling your homeless problem. And I know what you're saying, Dr. Bartholomew, cars can't possibly contribute to the homeless problem. No, you have a congestion problem in the Bronx. Lincoln Hospital sees 25,000 patients a week. A week. A week. And so hence this cyclone of violence that you're seeing. Go to 149th Street and 3rd Avenue in the Bronx. It's like a gateway to hell that they've opened up. And so the things that you're experiencing in our city, right, is as a result of, we don't have a homeless problem, we have a leadership problem in this city. And this city is being run by white-collar criminals and by the robber barons. And so for the homeless, one of the things I'd like to do is we've got to put some stopgaps, but we also need some long-term solutions. I'd like to give you a dignity and care board, never been done before. You know you have parole boards, right? A dignity and care board will sit between the homeless individuals and those individuals of the healthcare system, because what happens now is somebody could be experiencing a mental health challenge and they could say to that person, well, you know what, you'll come back and do 5 days of treatment, but they often don't show up, right? And if that person is a level 4 and they've crashed, at the end of the day, that cyclone of trauma triage, trauma triage, trauma triage. So a dignity and care board will be an independent board that sits between that individual and the family and those healthcare systems. So you need innovation, and so what I'm bringing to the mayor's race is critical thinking. I'm Dr. Bartholomew. Let me be Dr. Bartholomew for you. Let me offer you some new and some innovative ideas. And so yes, I am running on the Democratic Party line. When I told them I was running for mayor, they said, oh, Dr. B, you don't have Wall Street. Ooh, I clutch my pearls. I clutch my pearls. I said, there are a whole lot of other streets out there that people want change, and they want some new ideas, and they want some new innovation, and that is what I represent. I represent the people of New York, and those individuals who we have been constantly being gaslit. We are being gaslit. And I'll close with this point in terms of who I am as a woman and as a business owner, and the other candidates, right? In New York City, right now, you're familiar with the Minority Women Business Enterprise, whether you believe it works or not. Thank goodness I didn't build my business on that. But you're supposed to get, if you're a woman, if you're a person of color, you pay these high taxes, you're supposed to get 30% of the budget, right? Yes? The mayor's office, the comptroller's office, and the body of the city council is gaslighting us. They had the nerve to put out the report. The comptroller said, wait for it, that MWBEs gave 6% value. 6% value. When was the last time you drank orange juice and only drank 6% of the vitamin C? Right? So that meant that 94% of the budget went to who? It went to white men in the city of New York. Black women made 0.36% of the budget. That means that they are trying to kill me and trying to kill us as women in the city of New York. I say no, and I say push them back. And it's time that we brought some critical thinking, and yes, individuals who fundamentally understand budgets, who understand business, who understand change. And so I'm honored to have the chance just to greet you. I thank you for your openness. I thank you for, embracing me. I heard your passion, honey. Set the world on fire with it. Set the world on fire with it. And so I'm here, I'll stay, look forward to hearing your questions. And my motto is simple: let's go win our children back. Let's go win our kids back. The adults are bickering, but we can win our kids back with art, with music, with STEM, teaching our kids. I want to teach 1.5 million children how to swim, right? Teaching them some instruments, the things that really matter to build your confidence, to build your voice. And let's go take our city back from the robber barons and the white-collar criminals that have been running New York City. I thank you so much, President.
Thank you very much. Selma Bartholomew. Okay, right now I'm going to turn basically the floor over to the audience. Ask any one of our candidates doing independent petitioning. Very quick on numbers, so all of you know. The signature requirement, believe it or not, is identical for City Council on the Republican Democrat line. 450 signatures for City Council. The mayor is same thing, 3,750. Okay, so we're going to try to get these people on the ballot as much as possible. Anyone who wants to join their tickets, please feel free to ask any questions you like. So, do we have any questions from the audience too? Isaiah.
So we have Carmen Sandiego in the back. Why didn't she get to speak?
Oh, okay.
Can we ask her some questions?
Okay. On a serious note, I would like my first question to go to Mr. Duran. Mr. Duran, how many candidates do you have on your independent line right now? 15. 15, wow, oh my goodness. And you said you don't have any account on how many in each borough, or you just... Off the top of my head, we have majority in Queens and the Bronx, but we still have plenty of room for Staten Island and Manhattan as well. Okay. Mr. Rinaldi, where did you get the idea of Republican Socialists of America?
Well, it's quite simple. I mean, why can't we have free public transportation? Why can't we have free energy? I mean, these are the things that raise the cost of living for the working class and the family man. I mean, your energy bills, because of the city of yes, everything's going to be electric. Why don't we have flex fuel? But with that being said, public ownership should be infrastructure and energy. And then everything else should be privatized, because we need to be able to, if we're going to live in a society that's forward and in the future, then we should be able to have the buses for free, and we should be able to have free energy. And if they can give the illegal aliens everything for free, then I can get on the bus for free.
But how do you propose on paying it?
We already pay taxes, brother. We already pay taxes. So what is it going for? It's like if you have a co-op and you're paying maintenance fees, and we have to put our money towards the infrastructure and the social services for us. Because if we don't do that, then we're going to keep paying out of pocket. We already have congestion pricing. Well, we're going to pay $36 to go into the city in a few years. It's absolutely absurd. And I'm against it.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
No other questions from the audience? Makita?
Good evening, everyone. I apologize for walking in late. Excuse me. My name is Makita Jacqueline Coe. I'm on the Republican Party line to run for City Council this year. I should stand up. I'm on the Republican Party line to run for City Council this year. And my name is Makita Jacqueline Coe. I'm asking people to call me MJ. It will not be MJ on the ballot. It will be Makita Jacqueline Coe. But MJ is what I appreciate being called, because it shortens the name. I have a question for the gentleman that's representing the no to the city of yes.
Go ahead.
I also believe that the city of yes is problematic for New York. I haven't read very much about it, but what I gather is that we're going to do what we did in Brooklyn. We're going to build in New York like how we built down Atlantic Avenue. Can you confirm that or not?
Well, it's a little different than downtown Brooklyn. Downtown Brooklyn, the zoning districts were changed for the high-rise, the larger buildings. With the city of yes, what they're doing is they're taking the low-density districts. That's the R1 through R5. That's the type of housing that's in this neighborhood, the detached 1 and 2, 3 family, and they're creating, just one of the things they're doing is they're creating what they call the transit zones. You have an inner transit zone, outer transit zone, and greater transit zone. And what happens, if you're within these districts, regardless, in these areas, regardless of your zoning district, you can be on, let's say, Metropolitan Avenue, and that's, for some, it's near transportation. It could be the Long Island Railroad, MTA, Metro North. I know it's not down here, but you are now allowed in certain areas to put on the one-story taxpayers to add 3, 4, 5 stories, depending on the size of the lot. They've done away with a lot of the open area requirements. The old zoning from 1961 was basically, to be quick, it was called tower in the park. That was the theory. Regardless of the tower, whether it's one family or a tall building, you always had the open area. You had open yards, front, rear, and side.
You have 4 feet between.
No, it was larger than that. They just downsized as the zoning changed. The different yard requirements were changed actually to fit in with the different neighborhoods. So what happens now is they come in, let's say I'm just using Metropolitan as an example. I don't know if it's in the zoning, in the transit district. You can now start building apartment houses, low-rise apartment. one of the problems they did with the zoning is they waived the parking up to 75 units. So if you have a building that has 75 units and let's use the number of 1.25 or 1.3 per family per car, that's 100 cars. Where are you gonna put them in the street? There's no parking now. And who are you gonna tell not to have a car? So we have problems parking now. You create more units, more parking. That's just one of the issues. The other issues are the schools. The issues are the transportation, the quality of life. What happens is you create a greater density, more people per block. And now what happens is the services are less. You have infrastructure, we don't know if it can handle it. We have problems already that no one ever talks about. They kick the can down the road with the sewer system. No one speaks about the storm sewer system. Years ago, the city decided to put the storm sewers together, combined sewer. You mix the rain with the sanitary, it creates sanitary. You have to dispose of it. You just can't have rainwater and runoff. Now what happens is you have to dispose of it. That's where we used to get the overflows, and you used to hear, don't go to the beach, or don't go to some area. Now they don't report it because they can't handle it. What the DEP is doing is causing us to keep it on site. So now you're keeping it on site, the building is 80% covered on the lot. Now you're trying to put all that rainwater in that area at a certain flow rate. I'm sorry to get into the technical. Put it all on the site and try and have it absorb the land. You're going to have problems down the road with that. There's problems with the electric. They cannot service the grid. Everybody wants to go electric. They can't give you the power. Con Ed, LIPA, whoever's working in the city will tell you that. There's not enough grid to give what they propose. This is one. And is for the smaller districts, you probably heard about the accessory dwelling unit. Okay. The accessory dwelling unit is where you can take your basement, cellar, your garage, and turn it into a unit to rent. It could be, it can only be with 2 families. You can add the additional or a single family with certain conditions, but they're not telling you it's going to cost you $100,000, and not everybody can do it. But again, the problem is they waive the parking, so now a 2-family becomes a 3. And now where are you putting the extra cars? Where are we putting the extra the people? We don't have the infrastructure to support it.
Well, I agree with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that explanation. It was really. The truth is, the hidden truth is, how many of you own commercial real estate in this room? Raise your hand. Right, one person. So if you don't own commercial, and congratulations, right? So you don't own commercial real estate. And so when has anybody ever come into your neighborhoods and really built affordable housing? So now if you own commercial real estate, that person can now tear it down and now build up and claim that they're gonna build affordable housing. Well, we know fully well what gaslighting in New York City looks like. And so we know that they're not going to build affordable housing for us. I'm in the Bronx, go to Story Avenue in the Bronx. They supposedly build affordable housing. You gotta make $220,000 just to get an application. So yes, we want people to be able to make money, but the questions that you're asking, the technical questions around the water and the grid, everybody's gaslighting us and pretending that it's gonna be okay. It's not gonna be okay. The landscape of your neighborhoods are about to change drastically with that City of Yes plan. It is going to change, and so for me, I'd like to change it in the context of working first with the homeowners. Why didn't they go to the homeowners first and have conversations with our homeowners and with our community boards before you now push the City of Yes, which I see the City of Yes gaslighting ordinance. And so there's
One of the things I proposed to do, and what happened was when they introduced the City of Yes, all the community boards, they went through the ULO process. And you start on the community boards, the local civics, community boards for a resident. The community boards, my understanding, the majority voted it down. Then the borough residents voted for it, and the city council pushed it through. My proposal is anything to do with zoning changes, because they're basically text zoning changes. They're not changing the district, they're just changing the wording.
is to have the people of the districts and the areas where they propose to change to vote on the change. If they don't want it, it doesn't happen in this neighborhood. If they propose change the high rise and so on.
Well, I just wanted to make it known, the reason I asked about Brooklyn is because I was on city council under Bloomberg, and I was a part of the council when we rezoned Brooklyn so that we could build the Barclays Center and so we could get some new residential buildings down there. Recently, I've heard that the city of Yes, they're going to take Jamaica Avenue. I'm from Queens, so I'm representing District 27. They're going to take Jamaica Avenue, where the Coliseum, 165th Street between 90th Avenue and Jamaica Avenue. They're going to wipe that out. They're going to build up. They're going to build up commercial high rises. It would change the skyline of Queens forever. What I know and what you know is that a lot of these buildings that go up right now, they are shoddy. They are ugly. They're unattractive. They're not aesthetically pleasing. They don't beautify the communities. They do not complement Queens. They are not Queens quality buildings. We don't need this. If you are a millionaire, you're a billionaire, trillionaire, you have enough money to build a commercial building with 72 units in it, have the decency to make it attractive, right? At least make it attractive. At least put the windows in the right places. I'm looking at buildings and all I see is concrete. I live on 217th Street in Queens Village. We're a R3 zone. You can't rebuild in our neighborhood. You can only go up 2 floors. You can only go up two stories. You can't build over 2 stories in our community. But you have people who are coming in on the City of Yes. They're taking over once used to be Rite Aids. Once used to be the gas station. Once used to be the club. They're taking over these places that people use as commercial spaces, and they're building really residential buildings on it. We don't want that. I know that my neighbors don't want it. I don't want it. I'm gonna vote against it. If I get into the city council, I'm not voting for it, because I think that it's detrimental to the people in Queens. I don't know about the other 4 boroughs.
The city of Yes is already passed.
It's already passed.
2 of the 4.
That's
already passed.
well, we can repeal it.
2 of the 4 already passed.
We can repeal it. We need to. I don't believe
So it
this.
is passed, so people may not know, the City of Yes was already voted on. And the question is, how do you work with your community board now? And yes, there were people community boards who voted no, but their city council members voted yes. Voted yes, even though the community board members voted no. So what we're saying to you is, yes, your landscape in New York City is about to change, and you need a leader, a mayor, and individuals who understand this, and who can now have a level of advocacy and conversation around how to now protect your community. And so it's not just even about building houses. You're about ready to get hit with some of the largest neurodegenerative diseases ever, Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. This is you 10 years from now, 15 years from now. So just building buildings for the sake of building it is not going to serve our community. So I see the several
I just wanted to make clear that there's 2 things about the City of Yes that we have to understand. Number one, it comes from Local Law 97. What they're trying to do by 2035 is make us carbon neutral. So what they really are trying to do is they applied Local Law 97 to buildings that were over 25,000 square feet. Now, they want Local Law 97 and the energy standards and the infrastructure to be paid for by the homeowners. That's a very important fact, because they want us to be carbon neutral. So everything that they're doing is to pass on the cost of the infrastructure upgrades to the homeowners. The other thing that we have to understand is that Section 9 was a public housing program that was for home ownership. And they let the buildings dilapidate. Right. All of the projects where all the people live now, they are letting them, and they want to dismantle them. So what they want to do now is they want the developers to include Section 8 apartments, which don't cover the utilities, remember, because they don't want us to be energy independent. But the reality of it is that they flooded the city with illegal aliens, and the minorities and everybody else that wants those Section 8 apartments are not getting it. They are going to be given to the illegal aliens through Intro 1867. Udonis Rodriguez wants illegal aliens to vote and they are going to steal this place from each and every one of us. And I am also on the No to the City of Yes party, by the way. What's up, James? How's it going?
Thank you. One of the other things that the city has done, and speaking about Jamaica Avenue, I'm an architect and I'm a builder, so I'm just in private practice now, I've worked in public. But one of the things they've done now is they have, besides the City of Yes, they've also proposed a series of zoning changes that they're gonna double the City of Yes. So you're gonna wind, if you go down to Something Boulevard, you'll have, you see those 40 stories being built? That's what you would have along that corridor. Maybe not 40, depending on the lot size, but it could be 30, 23, versus the 17 or 16 story, or whatever, depending on the lot size.
Okay, guys, I just want to jump in. I want to give the other candidates
Sure.
a chance to
Sorry.
speak, please. Go ahead, Angela.
I think what's most important from all of us is like the bottom line, we all want affordable housing, right, for everybody. As a public advocate, I will advocate for Michelle Lama, public housing, same as before, and we have to bring this back, like, we all deserve a home, we all deserve an apartment, or, you know, about in New York City, an apartment that we can live in dignity. Right? It's about time that we really push for budget so that we can have our homes. We're all gonna get old soon. We all want our not soon, but eventually. I take that hopefully. I saw your face, I have to take it back. So, you know, but we want to have a dignified home. For us, for our kids to go home to, for us to feel secure, we all should have affordable housing, not just as a rental, but also something that we can call our own, right? And leave it for our children, and I'm all for that. Whatever we label it, whatever, let's just have it done.
You know, I think that we should sell the projects. That's one of my things. I think so. I think that the public housing in New York, it could be sold back to the people who live in the public housing.
I want to pass it to George.
Well, I guess very quickly, let me just go over all the party lines that's have here tonight. Okay, we have the RSA, we have Asian United, we have Common Ground, we have Rebuild, we have the Olive Branch, we have Innovating NYC, we have No to City of Yes, Innovating NYC, United Alliance. Some of the names that's already being collected that are not here tonight. If you're interested, just let me know. We have Coalition for Life. Okay. We also have let's see, Patriot Workers. We have A, Blue Collar. We have Mayor Adams also is doing. You probably know about this. Safe and affordability. Okay. Believe it or not, even non-Mayor Adams candidates are also collecting on that. So if you're interested in any one of those, or you do one of your own, just let me know. I guess, do any one of you have questions for some of the party lines? Elena Chen.
Not for the line, but I had forgot this down.
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank you for your passion for the children. And I seldom hear that out of any candidate, so I applaud you for that. Thank you. They need it so much. They really do. They're the most vulnerable. But I have a question. You know, for the most part, education in New York City has been run by Democrats for decades and decades and decades. And their solution is always throw more money. And the more money we throw into it, the less returns we get. So how is your policy going to be different? What are you going to do differently? And how are you going to stand up to the Democratic machine, your own party on that one?
I am fighting the Democratic machine. Thank you so much. Thank you. Absolutely, I'm here because I am fighting the Democrat machine. I mean, they want to give the mayor's office to a failing former governor. How dare they? How dare they? Yeah, he wants to fail backwards on privilege. I say no. I say no. My work in education is extremely transformational. And it's transformational because I go after relationships. Let me teach you something about the mathematics that you don't know. And so they fundamentally believe that only those big box companies can help their kids learn math. I've taken so many schools in New York City off a failure list. go to Yonkers. I went into Yonkers on the request of New York State Education Department. Their graduation rate is now high in the 80s. And so for me, the work in education is reimagining school, reimagining that space where your kids are not just being pushed to test, giving them art, giving them music, giving them a space where they can now, have opportunity to fundamentally do science. Most of your high schools, your kids graduate without ever even taking a chemistry class.
That's right.
They're not even taking a chemistry or physics class. You are not prepared for the jobs of the future. So really going back into our schools and redefining what the prepared graduate is. What does it mean to be a prepared graduate? I mean, truly a global citizen, right? Someone who has that confidence, but also kids who know how to write. Go look at the community college graduation rates. It's barely 15%. And so it tells me that what they're doing is not working. And so we've got to now go back and reimagine that prepared graduate and now put our money where the mouth is. And the money is going to those companies. I mean, you're paying $30 million for somebody to make a test?
Are you a
Now,
former
are you
principal?
serious?
Are you a former principal?
I've never been a principal, but I've built a virtual district all across the country. And so I'm in Chicago, I've worked in Baltimore, I'm in the oldest all-male of color school in the country called St. Augustine in New Orleans. I've worked across this country, and so people bring me into rooms, and I close the door, and I have conversations about the fact that our kids deserve more. And the final piece is around this piece around STEM and around science, right? Everybody doesn't want to say that the jobs of the future, when they say to kids, oh, you can go be a plumber, that's some gaslighting. That is gaslighting. I have a son who bought a computer and it has 5 wheels. 4 of them he drives around the campus on and 1 wheel that he steers it with. The jobs of the future are not what you experience as the plumber. They have to know the mathematics and they have to be able to have access to the science and technology. And right now you don't. Your labs, your schools are not working. And it's not our teachers, let me just say that and on behalf of my teachers. Sometimes people say things like, where are their parents? But your teachers are being bullied, and your principals are being bullied. And it's a culture of, and the parents are being bullied. It's a culture of data. All they want to talk about is the test. I'm a mathematician. Data has a point. It's called information. If your kids can't draw a picture, then they will never be able to solve a math problem. I mean, it's just basic things like that they're not doing. So it's the culture. It has to be now going in, honoring my principals who are the light. They want to do the work. My teachers want to do the work. They want to build better relationship with parents. But we cannot have a culture that is so aggressive and so mean. We have to now honor the work. And we know how to educate our kids. We know how to educate our children. And the bottom line is, when you bring in these big box companies, I can name them all, honey. The money that they are making bypass me on the runway so they can give one of, the mayor's friendly companies $34 million. For what? While your test is still failing. So for me, it's a changing culture. It's a changing culture, and it's going after the things that matter. The art, the music, yes to science, yes to STEM. Your kids are not learning. I travel all around the world, and you know what they say to me? Hey, Dr. B, where the smart kids at? Where they at? They're not learning, so
Doctor, I
let's
want
go
to give
back.
other people the opportunity
so
to
much.
speak in the panel. Kathy?
Thank you.
Keep going.
I would like to know, the question, but I'd like to know where higher power, God is in your campaigns. If everybody can give us short, sweet answers.
All of them?
Yeah, all of them.
Okay.
Go first.
I'm gonna go first. I think as a candidate, we all, one bottom line is we have to do good work for other people, right? And I think that's the reason and our purpose here. In every single religion, it is mentioned there. Whatever religion you believe in, Judaism, Christianity, it's all there. Then we all have to do good works. We're here in this world to do something good. And that's, as a candidate, that's how I'm looking at this. I want to be here and be your public advocate by doing something good to everybody, to the people in New York. And give a piece of me that's a light, that is God-made, and leave it here. Whatever you see. That's why I really encourage, candidates, even if you're not underfunded. What matters is the light in you. That is even more than money. When you're making the light in you work, that is more precious because that is God. If you are people that are compensating good work with money, that is superficial. So please, keep on doing the good work. The candidates who you think you don't deserve because you're underfunded, no, take that out. You are more. Because you are pure light, you are pure good work, you are pure God. So put that as you become a candidate, put that in there. You are more.
Can you pass that to George?
Yeah. To answer your question, I am a kid from the projects. I'm an alcoholic mother and father. Experienced it myself. As of 91, I've turned my whole life around. Like I said before, I didn't choose. I was working in Queens Criminal Court in Borough Hall. Those were my buildings. But since then, I have been now at City Hall, right across the street, and to where all, no desire to run the city or anything like that. All it being around politicians and all of that just started all up. Put the ideas. I started debating with people, talking, discussing all the issues that are going on. As a kid from the projects, yeah, I think education's got to come. My world was so small, and that's 26 buildings. That's where my world was. Nobody came into that building. And you know what the cop said back then? Let them kill themselves. The gun violence, let them go. We're not going in there. Well, guess what? You got to go in there. You got to educate them. You got to tell them. If they have value for themselves, they'll value other lives. If I have no value for myself, why would I care about taking yours? It's only simple principles. The principles that you have to put into the city. That's all.
My message is a message of rebuilding. And what I want to do is to pause everything and start it from the beginning. Best way to do that is to understand that we have a city that has evolved. It started differently. Before it used to be just Manhattan, but we had other boroughs that joined in. They all have different laws, different rules, regulations. If you read in between the lines, you see that sometimes what you see in Manhattan overlaps with what is in Brooklyn. That has to be solved before we do anything. Housing, education, healthcare, we will improve on all this. When it comes to religion and the role it plays in our life, whether as individuals or a group, that itself has to be looked into. It's a way of educating people. It's a very good way of bringing people up, but we're not doing it right. That has to be looked into. It has to be assessed and taken care of. There are other things that could be done, but the main thing is to find a way to honestly generate new form of revenue for the city. It's the only way we could bring the city down and make it sustainable for everybody.
Thank you.
Can we pass this on?
Your question is, how or where does God rest in our campaign?
Yes.
That's the question.
Thank you.
So my answer is, God is my campaign manager. All right? I am a man of God, and that's why I'm here. There's so much corruption going on, and that is the centerpiece of what everybody has an issue with. It's the corruption that comes from the dark side. So real simple, 2 Chronicles 7:14. 2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and seek my face and pray, then will I forgive their sins and heal from heaven and heal their land. That's what my campaign is all about. Healing the land. All right? So God is number one, period.
I agree everyone. Again, me, Yvonne. And how does religion and God fit into my life? But first off, let me just say something. I think we all have spirituality and we have that third eye. I see you in this room. I see each and every one of you. Some of you are very mean it from the heart, and some of you are just trying to prove certain things. Okay? And that's all right. That's all right. But when I was on the phone at 311, hearing how people have had their house taken from them, so many different things, people sick of illness and things like this. I work with Mimo. I got to shake hands with a heart doctor, one of the first, one of the youngest. That's truly God's work. Working on yourself, making sure you can be the best scholar you can be. That is God's work, okay? I cry with this city. So many times I've cried with this city, with Debrina Kawam, who was burnt on a subway train. We need to redo the procedures of NYPD now. How do I know? My stepmom was one of the investigators on the Boston bombing. Listen, my name is Del Valle, okay? Okay? One of the first Jewish presidents in the Western Hemisphere was a Del Valle, okay? And you can see I'm shaking like a leaf on a tree. Why? Because I'm standing here for Hashem and his people. And I ain't gonna stop. I won't stop, can't stop. I think Puff Daddy said that. So again, you see the spirits that are walking in here, you see the people. Listen, I'm running against this gentleman with a beautiful family, such a beautiful family, Baruch Hashem. I love it. I'm here by myself, but I'm here mostly with Hashem. I don't have much money. I don't. That's okay, baby. I ain't worried about it. But when I was in Finland, when I was in Russia, the work I did was amazing. And I broke some barriers. Totally did. Especially with the Finnish Chambers of Commerce. My commercials are bomb. And you know what? Let me tell you something else. With my studies in aeronautical science, and also interning at emergency management, I see a red moon arising for all of us when it comes to emergency management in New York. And none of us are prepared. This is the only reason why I'm here, is to pass this message. You said that it's all about winning. It ain't about winning. It's about giving the people choice from the people and by the people. Again, I'm here with Hashem. And I'm not saying I'm like, listen, trust me because I'm with Hashem. No. Trust your heart. You see the spirits that's walking up in you, baby. Don't ignore your intuition, New York. Don't ignore it. I may not be that well experienced. I think Cuomo said something, and I was running for mayor at the time. He said, we don't need on-the-job training.
That's right.
Well, let me just ask you a question, Angela. Are you ready to really serve as public advocate?
Why are you thinking?
I'm just saying, we worked together on an initiative, an education initiative, Hoops to Dreams, and I was kind of disappointed and let down. And that's okay, but I'm glad to see you. You know, if we're running against each other, I want you to trust and believe that I'm ready. I'm ready for anything and anyone to come my way.
That's right.
Let me say it again if I wasn't clear before. Vaughn, NYC, for the great borough of Queens.
All right, thank you, Mom.
I heard that, sir.
To answer your question, not only is God part of my campaign, but he's part of my everyday life. So it's a legal, religious life.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let the life that I live speak for me, that the work that I do speak for me, and only what we do for God will stand.
That's right.
Under immigration, I support mass deportation due to mass saturation, overpopulation, community sanctuary stands. All immigration programs will be relocated to the remaining approximately 20,000 incorporated cities and towns in the United States. Under budget, I will eliminate government waste by instructing a citywide audit of every city agency to remove redundant programs and overstaffed offices and positions. I will overhaul the rental assistance programs to ensure that every rental assistance recipients are directly receiving their full award amounts. I will require permanent and exclusive housing for the mentally ill who are referred only by a licensed mental health professional or by a judge. Under taxes and revenue, there will be summer employment programs for all 11th and 12th grade students and one-year internships for all university students. I will solicit and request to bid on the contracts that are available on the European Union, on the single market of the European Union. Under jobs and education, the contracts secured on the single market will increase revenue and create new jobs, fields, industries, organizations, and etc. for New York City and the rest of the United States. Under infrastructure, all no-bid contracts will be used to repair, replace, and upgrade all low-income and NYCHA residential buildings. Under law enforcement and crime prevention, all NYPD will undergo federal background checks. The Civilian Complaint Review Board and the Firearm License Division will be dismantled and all responsibilities will be transferred to the City Council. Under additional policies, all public transportation, Metro will be free.
Yeah.
This includes buses, subways, trains, and express buses. The United States possesses the small businesses, entrepreneurs, independent contractors, and labor, and etc. in the areas of expertise, skills, talent, creativity, resources, supplies, functionality, and availability to permanently fulfill, maintain, manage, and or oversee the entire single market of the European Union. Let the work that I do speak for me.
Gonzalo. Gonzalo Duran for United Alliance. As a non-denominational chaplain and the vice chairman for the Conservative Party, a majority of the work that I do happens to be around the church or with the church, as in charity, as in the work in the community that I do. I believe in separation of states, so I don't try to push my religion on anyone, but I try to show them that the work and the good work that I do can be replicated and spread across for not only the politics that we do, but also the community that I like to see built from the belief in God and church. Next week, we'll be doing a prayer for all the candidates running. So I'll share that with Danny for 2 people to see it. That's what God and the church has to do with my campaign and myself. Thank you.
I just want to ask something real quick. I didn't know you were going to ask that question. And you want to know what kind of person I am. I'm a real man of God.
All right.
This is with me everywhere I go. Every single answer is in this book for this city. Understand that.
What about Jonathan?
Yeah, let me answer this.
You sure about this?
There's nothing more sacred than our DNA. And the one thing that we should never do is inject ourselves with RNA experimental technology mandated by government. So as long as we keep God in our blood and in our DNA and don't taint it with poison, that's how we're going to keep our stuff with God. Yeah, that's right.
I want to tell you a story about a little boy that I heard in terms of faith. And this little boy, he was out playing with his brothers and sisters, and they were cooking, and he got burnt. And so his eyes was wrapped, and he couldn't see, and he was sad. He couldn't go out to school. He would hear them every morning, and he was just really sad about the fact that all of a sudden his life had changed. And one day, he's sitting in his little window, and he starts to pay attention to the world. He starts to listen. He starts to hear the birds. He starts to realize that he is part of this world. And then the bandages come off. The bandages come off. And it turns out that he wasn't burnt, he wasn't scarred or anything. But he realizes that he takes up space. He takes up space in this little world. It turns out that that little boy was not a little boy at all. And that little boy was actually a little girl. And that little girl was me. That little girl was me. So I know all about faith. And you have to use your faith. There are plenty of people who say that they believe, but you got to use your faith. And so I'm using my faith right now as we move forward. And so I thank you, and yes, I am a woman of faith, and it greatest faith that is going to bring us through this as we move forward in this way. Thank you.
Right now it is about 9:21. We have less than 8 minutes left. I get one more questions, and we're going to basically end the meeting. Aisha?
We're trying to make it quick. So I want to know how you all feel about DEI program, DEI, and are you in favor of DEI programs as well as comprehensive sexual education in schools? And in particular, how do you feel about the men who are pretending to be women and entering into sports? No. DEI.
Everybody, the meeting is still going on and I hear people speaking. So when the meeting comes to order, I'll let you all speak, but I'm hearing too much in the background there and we want to hear everyone speak here. Okay, go ahead.
How do you feel about DEI? Comprehensive sexual education, especially for kindergartners and men, boys, and posing as women to get into women's spaces.
Was that to me? All right. So your question is, how do I feel about DEI and what do I think?
Hopefully y'all will answer too. Yeah, we're starting with.
You must not want me to answer this question.
Do you want him to answer? Sure.
We do.
All right, so your question is, what do I think about DEI? It's really hard to hear you, so I'm trying to re-clarify your question, please.
Sure. What do you feel about DEI, comprehensive sexual education, and men and present themselves as women to gain access to women's spaces? All of that's bad.
Interesting. Yeah, so DEI. All right, so I only answer questions when people are giving me their attention. If you're gonna talk to somebody else and ask me a question, you don't want my answer. You want to answer?
No, go ahead, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Listen, let me tell you something. When it comes to sexual education and all that stuff, certain things the state shouldn't be telling you what to do. You know what I'm saying? That sort of stuff is like, I don't know. I mean, look at me. Think I got a girlfriend or a boyfriend? It's none of nobody's business. But let me tell you, whoever's in my life, they must love more. But that's the thing. We need to make sure that we are talking about the right things in school. Because in Russia, they're not talking about that. They're talking about education. They're talking about STEM. Where's Mrs. Selma? Mrs. Selma knows what's going on.
Can I call order here? I want this gentleman to be heard and I hear everybody speaking. The meeting has not been adjourned, so I'm asking people to be quiet for a second until it's been called adjourned.
So again, there's certain things that we should not teach in school. Again, whatever a child wants to do when they get older, whoever they want to love, leave that to the child. That's what I think. Because again, we need to be teaching STEM programs so we can build the best doctors, so we could build people in aeronautical sciences to protect us from enemies. Why is the enemy getting such a greater hand above the United States? It's because we're teaching our children the wrong thing. Let me say it again, we're teaching our children the wrong things. We need to be teaching them about health, dieting, about all of these good things, but yet we're talking about the bullcrap. So, and again, guys, we need to really be focusing on what the problems are. Real problems need real solutions. You're going to talk about whether or not somebody's bisexual or not. What does it matter? I want my city to be okay. I want my child to be good. I want my child to get a good education.
Folks, I got to call order here. There's no speak until the meeting's adjourned. If you want to speak, go out there. Someone is speaking and I hear everybody here. It stops. It stops. Just go out in the hallway and speak. He's speaking. Have you finished what you had to say? Siobhan, you had something to say?
I'll say something. So my candidacy is, my whole campaign is based on 3 main things. That first thing is respect. Respect. We have to respect ourselves if we're going to respect each other. The next thing we can do is reform, right? Once we know how to respect ourselves and each other, then we'll be able to reform whatever we're doing,
whatever you're doing, whatever I'm doing, you've heard me say this last time. And once we've done that, then we can restore our interactions, our relationships, our systems, when we understand how to do it in love, first and foremost. DEI needs to be reformed. It needs to be redefined. It needs to be understood. It needs to be reclassified. Now, in terms of teaching people sexuality and things like that in school, and how to do this, how to do that, who you want to be and all that, that shouldn't be in school. That could be a program outside of school. No one should be forced to learn about something that they're not comfortable with, that goes against their belief system. So if you want to learn about sexuality and all the types, go to a center that is focused directly and solely on that. It doesn't need to be inside of the school system.
Hey, thank you.
May God bless everyone.
Go ahead. Abby?
I agree with everything that he said. We need to be careful of distractions. Whatever you call it, education in schools to kindergarten shouldn't be there at all. Another thing is to deal with DEI, we have to understand we have a multicultural society. We have to do away with that and educate everybody the same way. It's the only way we could tackle this DEI, because there's nothing like orthodoxy of language or orthodoxy or this way or that way of doing this. We need to get rid of that.
Okay, I return the order to the president, Daniel Mayo.
So I guess the candidates out here, do you want to say any last words before we adjourn the meeting? Anyone else want to, I guess, James, you want to say some last words before? Okay, Angela, you want to say some last word? Okay, in that case, do I have a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn. Okay, Isaiah. Okay. And Swabman, all in favor says aye? Aye. Aye. Thank you. All opposed? Thank you very much for coming. The meeting ends today at 9:28. Okay, thank you very much, and we'll see you on the campaign trail on petitioning. Anyone interested in candidates, just let me know. I'll refer you to them so we can petition together.
Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thank you. Good night. Good night, everyone.
Okay, so that was today's meeting. Very interesting. We had a lot of topics, a lot of interesting candidates that came today. I was particularly coincidentally interested in the question of faith in these campaigns and what it meant to people. I think what surprised me was, I believe only one, maybe two people actually answered the question, and the rest just seemed to pontificate about what they plan to do and about me. So I'm going to give you my thoughts on it really briefly. I love, one thing I love about the positions in government is that we call them public servants. There's political leaders, there's community leaders, but I love the word public servant because, I love the term public servant because I believe that that's what men of faith are. I mean, people of faith, and should be what public servants are, serving the people, not the other way around. I think of the fact that Jesus washed the feet of his apostles, and they were like, no, Rabbi, don't. We should do this for you. And I think that's a prime example of what all of us should be to each other, servants unto each other, helping each other. That's why I focus on positive issues, ways to enrich and help people, not constrict them or blame or persecute people. So I'm really hopeful that some of these candidates come a long way, and thank you all for coming, and we'll see you next month.